If you know someone in crisis, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-TALK. Or text the crisis text line, which you can text hello to 741-741. Both services are free and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and all calls are confidential.
Now, so whenever you're ready.
All right, give me 1 second here because I just gotta find. Okay, there we go. Because I had to find my freaking housekeeping stuff. Okay, all right. So if we're ready to roll, I'll count this down.
Let's do it.
All right, counting this down in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back. This is Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast of our flagship show, Boss Rush Podcast. Hey everyone, I'm LeRon Dawkins. Glad to see you. Glad to hear you're all here. And I've got the crew with me tonight. So welcome back, Stephanie Klimov.
Hey.
Welcome back, Corey Dierig.
Hello, I'm here.
And joining us tonight is my friend from Crossroads PlayStation Podcast. Hey, Austin Campbell, what's up?
Hey, LeRon, what's up, man?
Oh, not much. You know, just life. That's all.
He's not just your friend, LeRon. He's all of our friends.
I know. But Austin has a special place with me because we're Crossroads buddies.
Yeah. Yeah, one of us plays PlayStation.
One of these days,
the other one
that
plays
podcast
them on PC.
One of these days, that podcast is just going to be called Crossing Swords Podcast.
Crossing Swords.
Hey.
Hey, didn't we already say what happens on Discord stays there?
Yeah. Yeah, Corey, you already break the code.
Spouses don't have to know.
Oops. Guess I shouldn't have signed us up for the Boss Rush OnlyFans. Whoops.
Whoops.
Which, by the way, LeRon moving, I'm happy for him. OnlyFans is finally kicking off. He's got new, bigger spaces.
He bought a mansion,
activities
a recording studio.
There. Yeah.
A hot tub.
I saw that first paycheck and I was like, oh, I made it.
Still can't afford sleeps though.
He's gonna get a pole and some other contraption that I've probably never seen before.
He's gonna buy a special swing.
Stephanie called us out a couple of weeks ago about the whole pole thing.
That's why I'm going to the gym tomorrow. That picture is why I'm going to the gym tomorrow.
There it is. Jeez.
First,
my mama didn't raise no bitch.
First, LeRon shows off his arms, and then Stephanie shows us up in our chat, and it's like, God, I just feel like a worthless Jello blob.
You're beautiful just how you are.
Listen, there can only be so many muscular people. It takes people like me to round things out. And I do mean round. So.
Oh boy. So how's everybody? This is, as of right now, this recording, we are actually less than 2 days out from, less than 3 days out from Christmas.
Yeah.
So how's everybody's holiday rolling out?
Oh, just as dramatic and fight filled as you would think from a side of the family. So, I don't really care because whatever, my family can get over it. But like, my one cousin is like the one that everybody she's kind of the one that causes drama a lot. And like, so she was hanging out with someone who was, who got COVID and this week, like 2 days ago. And there's a bunch of drama now that she wants to go to Christmas, but nobody wants her to go because, she might have it and her kids might have it, and you know, well, I guess this tonight's gonna get really dark anyway. But my one cousin is on her last treatment for cancer, her last chemo.
Oh no.
And like that could really just like she's super immunocompromised right now, and like that's just gonna like I don't know.
Ugh.
So
Yeah.
that's
So wait.
rough.
She actually has COVID right now?
She refuses to get tested, so we don't know for sure.
Wow.
Jeez.
May I
Okay,
ask, does she
okay.
have like a reason?
That just because I think A, she likes the attention, but B, like she's just one of those people who we don't even think she's vaccinated. Like that, we don't know because we try to like avoid her at all costs, most costs. I don't know, but yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, special case she is. So
Do you all do like Secret Santa or anything like that?
No,
You could give
well-
her a COVID test. You can buy one at Walgreens.
well, here's the thing. I did bring some home from work because our boss told us to take them home because obviously the Transformer version of the virus is going around. I always forget what it's called, but it definitely sounds like a Decepticon.
Oh, you're thinking
By the
you're thinking of Unicron. You're thinking of Unicron.
Unicron.
Omnicron, Unicron, scratch your balls acron. I don't know what his name is.
Well, you know what?
So,
It's interesting. Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, I was just gonna say this is gonna be like this would have been like the first time we were all together for Christmas in like 3 or 4 years, and you know, not to be morbid, but this might be our last chance to all be together for a holiday, depending on certain things, and like it really upsets me that like this is still going on when we should be thinking about being together and being there for each other instead of, you know, one person being extremely selfish and causing all this infighting, and it sucks. Like it really hurts. Like I'm not one of those people who like talks about how they feel about certain situations, and I just kind of like try to make the best of the situation, but like this is something that I was really looking forward to, is like all of us together for Christmas, and it's not going to happen, and it's probably not going to happen again. And it really fucking sucks that this is going on. So I don't know. Anyways, that's how my Christmas planning's going. How's everyone else? Great. Kids are excited.
I'm in the process of moving, so I mean,
yeah,
you know,
we discussed that. Your OnlyFans money bought you a mansion, and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, I'm a dumbass though, because I didn't request any time off from work. So I'm working in the process of moving.
No.
You know.
You're crazy.
Whose fault's that?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the scope of my job changed. Like, you know, like you know, like I'm getting a different payout now for commissions and stuff like that. So now it's one of those things. Now it's one of those things where it's like, you know, like technically I got to show off how hungry I am, because like this might put me on the path to getting partnership at the at my job.
Cool.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah,
it.
So,
Get it.
So yeah. So I'm exhausted. I got to pack. I'm recording shows. I'm editing content and stuff like that. And I don't know when I'm going to get back to streaming.
Yeah.
Oh no,
You
because
got Dead Space
you're still
to finish.
working through Dead Space. Yeah.
I'm still working through Dead Space. Yeah. Like, shoot.
Look, just look at the new year as a fresh start where we can all get on some sort of schedule of, because like, I mean, not that it's the same thing really, but I'm trying to figure out where we're going to record 4 standard def episodes in the next week to get ahead by a month, which is not something we need to do, but something that like would make me feel better as a human being who's trying to get all this ready.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously you getting your streams back is like something that I hope we can do soon too. So there's a lot going on. It's okay.
Yeah, like not only that, but I'm going to be shifting more. I'm going to be shifting more to YouTube, and I think I'm even going to try and and pilot Crossroads, a couple episodes on Crossroads on YouTube. I don't know how I'm going to do that just yet, because I feel like right now it's, like people know to find it on Twitch, but they don't. But so how do I just like pull the rug out from under them and say, oh, we're on YouTube now?
Well, I think what we're gonna do with Boss Rush is use Restream and do both for a while, because we're not affiliated. We're not an affiliate. Can you exit the affiliate program?
I think I can. But I think I have to like send like emails or stuff to people, and then wait. What I've learned this past year is Twitch is not like the most friendly place for all content creators. There's a reason why like $1 million stars are like leaving Twitch and going to YouTube or going to a wait. There's another platform. I just don't know which one it is.
There was Mixer, but it's dead. There's what it starts with a T, like Trovo maybe. Is that what it's called?
Trovo. That's the one. Trovo.
Isn't Facebook Gaming still big too?
Yeah, Facebook Gaming is huge. King Gathalion is like the biggest name over there still.
Yeah, but what's alarming though is who was I telling? I think I told Ed the other night when I was when we were recording for Power Block. I told him that one of the main things you have to worry about now on Twitch. No, actually I was telling you guys in the meeting. Like the problem with Twitch now is that I remember there was a time when like we used to have like double digits, like 20, 30, 40 like viewers and stuff like that. Like we thought we were doing something, and now it seems like you can have like 13 viewers and be in the top 1 percentile. Viewership is down, and it's because there's a discoverability problem and things like that. So
I mean, it's their business model though. Like they're going to promote the people that are going to make them the most money, and that leaves the rest. I mean, that's just how it goes, and that's why like I think people are moving to other platforms is to they're probably smaller and easier to be discovered. I mean that's why I think that's why Facebook is actually on the rise in terms of streaming, because like, yeah, it's a huge platform from streaming, but it's a lot of people overseas streaming mobile games. And if you're looking for a console game, that's where you could jump in and really like make it splash, right? That's why Gathalion's so big over there. That's why, there's a couple other streamers over there that have become bigger because they're streaming games and for people who are kind of, Facebook is still like the biggest social media platform on the planet, right? So I mean, the big problem with Twitch though is that Twitch you don't have videos on demand, right? Which basically means like you have to be streaming if you're on any type of monetization path. So you have to be streaming, which means you have to be live. Whereas YouTube, you can mix it up. You can be live. You can just upload content. You have shorts and all this stuff. Yeah, and basically like this generates like traffic to your channels and stuff like that. And ultimately, that's how and people get residual incomes off of it. And there's easier ways to like stream with your friends or like they did a lot of things that I mean not well, but I still think Mixer did it the best, where like you could co-stream with friends and it merged your chats, and like people could easily follow both people who are streaming. And I mean to me it's just like Twitch is owned by Amazon, which like they kind of half-ass everything to the point where it just works, and then they won't put any more effort into like making it better because it works and it's good enough, and there's no as big as YouTube is and as big as Facebook Gaming is, there's still, at least in the gaming space, there's still no real competitor to Twitch right now that's going to like change the landscape, right? And yeah, YouTube's getting there, and yeah, Facebook's okay, but like there's still no straight up competitor to Twitch, and that's a problem, right? To me it's like Twitch is owned by Amazon, but Twitch streamers are still getting takedowns, right? They have Amazon Music. Incorporate Amazon Music into your stupid service. Like that would solve your problem right there. Or like YouTube could implement Spotify into their thing. Like it's just anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go on a rant, but that stuff makes me really angry. Like Guardians of the Galaxy has a I'm going to stream this game mode that you can turn on, and it turns off all of the licensed music. Like, who wants to play Guardians of the Galaxy without licensed music? Not this guy.
Right.
Sorry. So that's why I kind of stopped streaming games.
Oh, man.
That's why I only stream podcasts that don't get a lot of views. So it's fine.
Yeah, well, we need our game streams to like lead people to our podcast. That's the thing.
I know.
Yeah, we need our game streams to do that. Which is why I need to be a little more consistent with streaming games. I mean, like there was interest in my Dead Space stream, and it's coming back.
Dead Space is a good game.
Because I got to play two whole games. I got to play two whole other games before the remake comes out. Which I don't know if I'm gonna play the remake live on stream. I don't know if y'all ready to see me like be a little bitch like that. I don't know.
I see you every Wednesday night, LeRon.
You still gotta play Resident Evil 7 VR.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nick told you. You gotta do it.
That's how we get Nick back on the show. I gotta play Resident Evil 7 VR, and then Nick will come back to our show.
Look at us hanging out.
But but it is wonderful to see you guys. I'm glad. I'm happy we're all here. Tis the season to be jolly and stuff like that. And I can't think of
as we get into our jolliest topic of this show.
Oh yeah. But you know what? Now's a good enough time to do it. This is Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast for Boss Rush Games. For Boss Rush Network. My bad.
It's all the same.
Basically, if you're looking for something new and different and unique from Boss Rush, besides just talking about video games and stuff like that, this is the place to be at. Boss Rush After Dark. We talk about things that are adult, things that are mature, things that are not in the normal gaming space. Because guess what? If you want to see us be nerds and stuff like that, we have shows for that. This is where we have a chance to get real and just talk about things that are on our minds or things that are important to not just us but society as a whole. So welcome to it. Glad you joined us. All right, everyone. So I just want to go ahead and start off and say this is going to be kind of deep, Tonight we're going to talk about depression and how we cope with it, and also some of the more not so friendly topics to talk about when it comes to depression. I want to go ahead and kick this off by saying that September every year is recognized as National Veterans Suicide Awareness Month, and there are an average of maybe 20 veteran suicides per day, and suicide among veterans account for about 14% of all suicides in the United States. Yearly. The correlation between veterans and suicide is strong enough that veterans are twice as likely to commit suicide compared to those who did not serve in the military. Usually for the month, as a veteran, myself, I typically try to promote the awareness on my social media. And I've also started to incorporate some of it into my streaming. I'll talk about it from time to time. I'm a United States veteran. I served in the Navy for 6 years. And I have tons of friends who are in different branches of service. Some are still active duty. Some are already out. And yes, I actually have some who have actually passed away from suicide. So something that I try to do is basically just try to talk about it, try to be an advocate for things like that and stuff like that. But anyway, one thing we can say is everyone gets depressed, but there are extremes to depression. Sometimes we're just mopey or something about something, but there's also the other side of it to where depression can actually cause like chemical imbalances in our brain chemistry, which make the act of coping with stress and depression a true fight. So tonight, guys, first of all I want to ask you guys, do you know anyone who's suffering from some type of chronic or clinical depression? And if so, like are they, how is there anything that you're trying to do to try to get them out of it? I know it's a fight for a lot of people because sometimes people who are clinically depressed, the last thing they want to hear is someone trying to get them out of their funk, because depressed people don't always think that we understand, and a lot of people don't understand, what a depressed person is dealing with. So that's my first question for you guys. Like, do you know anyone that's suffering from some type of clinical depression or any type of depression at all? Because sometimes it doesn't have to be clinical. It can just be shit that's on your mind.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I'll try not to bring too much of the clinical in it with my background, but it is true. There's like two variations of depression, which is like a situational depression, which does not necessarily mean it has to be treated lightly, but that's just what it is. It comes and then eventually it goes. It's when it does not go and when it starts disrupting more than one aspect of life. Career, personal, like once it starts disrupting it, then that's when usually providers will call it clinical, so to speak. So just to throw in a little bit of nerdy thing there, but I don't know, since I've already started talking, it's funny, I'm pretty sure I have a bunch of family or friends that have depression, but I feel like I need to put myself as the example because I bless my immediate family, I love them, do not believe in depression. They legit are of that kind that does not believe in mental illness of any kind. And growing up, I had a decent childhood. When I became a teenager and family things, like it started my situational depression, so to speak. Like I tried to resort to self-harm. That kind of only went so far. And then when I graduated from pharmacy school and started my career, won't say where, it really took a really bad turn. I also had postpartum after I had my child. And where it got very bad for me was because, I was seeking therapy and then I was put on medication, and there are a plethora of medications. They all work. Many of them are the same mechanism action, but everyone responds to medications differently. And I kept trying on different med. And there was one particular medication that actually kind of triggered manic moments. So, they thought I was kind of like bipolar, but more towards the depressive side. But the medication I was on triggered very manic situations. And to kind of bring this a little bit full circle, this is where we get kind of deep. I found myself in a situation. I'm not going to say what it was because it can be a trigger for some people, but if you can guess what it is, as a young female, something very terrible happened to me. And I was basically, when I was at the hospital, I said, if I go home, I don't know if I'm really going to make it, if you know what I'm saying. So I actually was inpatient for like 10-ish days for suicide prevention. Had meds changed several times. I interacted with people of all walks of life while I was there, which is, it's weird saying this now. I didn't hesitate to say that out loud, but oh my God, not many people really know about it because I'm afraid to talk about it with people. Once that was done, I was in an outpatient program. I still see my therapist, and my medications are now managed. So that's, high level. And during the throes of my deepest parts of my depression, like almost nothing could get to me. Nothing could really pull me out of that. And I felt like I was trapped in my own head. And I felt like there really was no way out except for one way. And looking back at it, like from the outside, I'm like, I don't know, like it's two different perspectives. That's why it's very important, if you're dealing with someone, a friend, a family member who has depression, there are ways to help them, but just know, like, there's a reason why they don't see any hope. Like I'm kind of against this toxic positivity and people dismissing those that just can't seem to snap out of it. Like it's not that easy. Once someone is in that lowest point, so
yeah.
Yeah, it's always scary when you're sitting at that lowest point, and like, I mean, you just look at it and you're like, if you just kind of like, I don't know, wait it out is the wrong term, but like sometimes when you're so deep, you can't see the way out, or you can't see a solution, or the help that people are offering you, and it gets dark and lonely and terrible, especially like you, Stephanie. Like, I don't get me wrong, I love my parents, but they're also the kind of people that, like, you know, when I had like some sort of sickness or I injured myself, my mom's the type of person that was like, you know, go outside, breathe some fresh air, walk it off type person, you know. And my dad was kind of the same way, although he wasn't like as vocal about it. But like, you know, like for example, like when my appendix ruptured when I was in 6th grade, and my mom just thought I was sick, and she told me just to like sleep it off or whatever. And I went to my friend's birthday party and passed out, and his mom actually took me to the hospital. And turns out, oh, guess what? My appendix ruptured, and I needed to have surgery to get it removed.
That's scary.
But I mean, that's not like, that's just like a dumb example of like how, you know,
Not dumb.
No, that's not. No, that's life threatening.
And, you know, I mean, but like with mental health type things, my parents are the same way. And like, granted, they're 70, right? Like my dad's 70, my mom's 68. They grew up in an era where like that was how you dealt with it, and they continued it. And I think we are all lucky enough to live in an era where we can actually sit here and talk about it and be adults about it and kind of talk through things, because like that would have helped me in 2 very specific situations in my life of like having a support system where, you know, it's
that's the key word. Support system is probably the number one thing, because one thing about depression or anything of the like is that it's isolating. And speaking to anyone out there, during your periods of, or not you specifically, Corey, you, general, plural you, if you're going through something, you're going to lose what you might have considered friends. There's going to be people that you find out that will not be there for you.
And I did. And I mean, I did. Like, I can honestly say, like, my wife was my first real support system of anything, you know? Like, and I don't know how, like, even like early in our relationship, and even now sometimes, like, I have a hard time like telling her things, because like I grew up, and even into my late 20s, and even like 30 and beyond, like I still have a hard time telling her certain things, you know. Like, it's just hard, and because I never learned how to say how I was feeling, so I never like learned how to talk about it, and it's still hard. And like just recently, like I would start telling her how I would feel, or like if I was feeling really anxious and I thought I was gonna have like some sort of anxiety attack, like only recently would I open up to her and say, I need a minute, just I'm gonna go in the other room, or I just need a minute, or can we talk about something for like a minute or whatever. And it's helped a lot. And if I had that 10, 12, 15 years ago during certain parts of my life, I would be a totally different person, I feel like. And, you know, like there's a lot of things that I'm not proud of, right? And of things that I did or have done or whatever. Like, I guess 2 very specific examples of me kind of feeling like I was in a dark place and like somewhere like I couldn't get out was when I went to college, I played football in college, and it was kind of some of the worst 2 years of my life. I've never really told anybody that part. I mean, there's certain parts of the story that I've told people, but like my roommate was a drug dealer, and I didn't really know until he called us and asked us to pick him up, and he was in some random house in a kind of ghetto-y part of Columbus where I was living at the time, and like his dealer like held a gun to all of our heads and stuff, and that was like really scary. And like I tried to tell my parents that I wanted to come home, but they like kind of wouldn't let me because it was really expensive, and they had already like committed to this big financial commitment, which is understandable, but like I had to like fail out of college to go home.
Damn.
Like that's
Damn.
and like I as much and like I hated playing football down there. Like if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have played sports after high school, like even tried. Like I did it because I knew like my dad really liked watching me play, you know, which was fun in like high school and stuff. It was fun. But then in college, when you have to get up at 4:30 in the morning to go work out until 6:30, and then you have to go to your 7:30 class, and then you have to go watch film at 2:00, and then practice starts at 4:00, and then you are practicing until 7, and then they expect you to do well in school as well. Like it was just like it was really hard for me to kind of concentrate on all of that, plus dealing with a lot of other things that were going on. You know, like,
I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of pressure that's put on you from family, and sometimes it's indirect pressure. Sometimes sometimes it's getting in our heads that, you know, like our people back home are relying on us, you know. Like college is a big example, right? Like I mean, like I grew up and my parents was like, you know, go to college, get that paper and everything. I did not actually go to college and stuff like that. And you know, like it's crazy. It as 46-year-old man right now, it sits on my brain sometimes about that stuff because my sister, she went to college and stuff, and she basically did the same stuff I did. She wanted to join the military. She just went to college first and did it, and she had a better time in the military because of stuff like that. Like, you know, there's things that are in place in her life right now that, you know, like are much different from my place. And there's something else I factor in too. Like, you know, like I'm the oldest child. Like we get so much stuff put on us, you know, like we're you know, well, first I was the only child. So, you know, I didn't really have any responsibility. And then I became the oldest child 12 years into my run, you know?
Yeah. And like, yeah. And like I'm the only child, and like, like that, like there was nowhere to spread the love, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
You know, and which kind of like, I mean, my cousin lived with us for 10 years, which was kind of like a sister, but, you know, it's still different. But it's, so like, when I came home, like, I just felt the sense of failure because I felt like I failed them, and I was far away from the girl I was with at the time, and like I felt really alone, you know. I felt like I let a lot of people down, and I felt like my college career was over because like who's gonna, you know, want you to go transfer your grades and stuff over to a new college with failing grades, you know. And it was just like I felt really lost, and it probably took me about a little over 6 months to 8 months to get out of that dark place. It got dark. I never really told anybody that, and the only thing that really kept me going was like I went back to my job that I had at the end of high school, and like I would go out with friends and stuff, but it wasn't like the same, you know. I went to escape. I didn't go to have fun. I went to escape, and sometimes I would be out till like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, right? I mean that's typical for that age, right? Like just to be out that late. But like I wasn't going to have fun. I was going to escape the dark place I was in, and it still, like, then when I would get home after, like, you know, I wasn't like a big drinker, and I don't drink at all now, which is part of a story that I'll get to later. But like even when I would have like 1 or 2 drinks, I can probably count on like two or three fingers how many times I've been like blasted drunk, just because like I just never really like to feel out of control. Plus I also had a lot of crazy friends that I was like, well, someone's got to be the adult here, I guess.
Yeah.
And it just got really dark, and I didn't climb out of that hole until I met someone who, you know, it was like that kind of rebound girl, I guess, but like I liked her, but I knew it wasn't going to work. But then like me and her sister got really close and we started dating and whatever. We were kind of like on and off for like 3 years because she had a really bad drinking problem and, you know, was into some drugs that probably shouldn't be said out loud on the internet. But like we had something and we were kind of on and off for like 2 or 3 years. And not to get super dark, but she died in a drunk driving accident. And the sad thing was like I was supposed to be with her, but I had requested off the weekend because her sister she went to go to Ohio State for her master's degree, and we were going to go visit her that weekend and just hang out and, you know, do what people in their mid-20s do, just hang out and do whatever. And so many people called off work that I just couldn't go. I was like, you know what, well, you can go have fun, go have a good time, see you when you get home, that kind of thing. And that I can like just I have the phone messages that she left me, which are still saved on a computer that's in the basement because I had to save them for some reason. Like she was like, I got here, I'm at the mall, do you want anything? I can pick you something up and bring you something home, you know, stuff like that. And I got a phone call at like 10 o'clock that night from her sister, and like she said she was in a really bad car accident and she was unconscious, and our friend that was with her like died instantly, snapped her neck, and like
Jesus.
And then her sister was like blaming me for it because I was the one that was supposed to be there with them, and you know, she made my life like a living hell for like 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
After that,
awful.
but like she was on like they ended up pulling the plug like 2 days later, and I became someone I was not proud of being. Like I started treating everyone like shit. Even girls I dated after that for a while, and then I got into like an abusive relationship, which was not fun either. You know, I don't know. I was in a really dark place until I honestly met my wife, and she pulled me out, and like I'm incredibly thankful for that. But you just, even thinking about those dark places you go, and even thinking about it now is like really scary.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't tell a lot of people that story. I don't tell a lot of people that, like, I mean, that's the reason why I don't drink. You know, LeRon, when I was on Crossroads one week, and the plate station was like, what's your favorite drink? And
yeah.
and,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You know, I always try to play it off like, oh yeah, I don't drink. It's not like a big deal or anything, but like,
There's a real story.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
To me, and I don't share it, and like I've gotten better about it. Like it's not like I avoid alcohol or anything. It's like, you know, I'll have like New Year's is coming up, right? I'll have like a glass of something with my wife or something, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. A lot of these, it's just kind of like, you know, just one of those things that reminds me of a dark time of my life, and I just kind of avoid it if I can, you know.
I hear you.
Of course.
Sorry, that got real.
Oh no.
Oh, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, thank you. Thank you too, Stephanie, because like you shared something very personal too. Like Well, let me ask. Well, let me ask you. Let me ask both of you this. I'll start with you first, Corey. Like, how? Like, what was your way? Well, number one, I think you spotted that when you like had to drop out of college and stuff. Like, you were starting to cope negatively with your. We're just gonna say your bout of depression. Because I'm pretty sure you never gone to therapy for anything like this, right?
No,
It doesn't.
I didn't. I didn't, because like it was just one of those things where like I think my parents just thought I was being like a college aged kid that was going out and with his friends and being stupid and not, sleeping all day and then going to work at night and hanging out all night with my friends, and just one of those things. I never really told them, but they never really asked me. It was kind of like that kind of circle, and like I said, it was this person that pulled me out, and then that person's taken from you and you go right back down into the hole deeper, and it ruins a lot of the other relationships you're dealing with. And like, not only that, after that, like just how her sister treated me made me treat other, like specifically women, terribly for a long time. And like, it's not something I'm proud to admit, like it's terrible, like I just couldn't get close to anybody, and that was also really hard because I didn't have like a family support system either, and like I had friends, but not like friends you would share stuff like this with,
Yeah.
Or like friends that just would like not care or the same way as like, oh, just walk it off, whatever, just hang out, whatever.
It's infuriating sometimes because like I also have those. I have just like your parents basically. I also have parents that are like, oh, there's nothing wrong with you, or there can't be anything wrong with you. Like this is one thing that I've always thought it was this phrase was funny, but I've never taken this phrase seriously. I can't stand when people tell me to man up. I cannot stand it because number one
or grow a pair was one that I heard for a while.
Exactly, and it's like hold on, like there's legit something wrong with me. You're telling me to be, what is being a man about this like entail, yeah, stuff like that, and like our parents are from that same generation where it was like stiff upper lip, like go out there and get it done, stuff like that, regardless of what's going on, and I look at some of the previous generations and like I understand why, like like the husband comes home and beats the living hell out of his wife and his kids and stuff. Nobody taught him how to cope, or better yet, or like the mother who just checks out every time her kids are at home and stuff like that. No one taught her like how to cope and things like that.
Yeah. And then
I remember recently. Well, I had something that basically. Well, actually, I've cataloged over the years things that kind of like just like break my brain, for lack of a better term, things that happened to me where it's like, okay, like I need to seek therapy. and it gets more and more to that point where I finally was like, I started asking people. I was like, hey, can I get some recommendations for a therapist or whatnot? I know people are out there doing it. And God, the amount of times someone would turn around and say, you don't need a therapist. You just need to talk to people. I was like, no, I don't need to talk to just anybody. I need to talk to someone who can help me figure things out because, I'm not one of the people that's going to jump on a rooftop with a sniper rifle and just go postal. But at the same time, it's like,
yeah,
it's like, like I might not harm myself or harm others, but I might put myself in a situation where I can be harmed.
Yeah, there were like definitely situations where like, so after all that happened, I would like date like. I would probably date like 2 or 3 girls at the same time, and then like for fun I would tell them about each other and like watch them tear each other apart while I would go off and like do something else. And like I got in this really like kind of verbally abusive relationship, and sometimes physical, I guess. But like, the one time I tried to open up about this, like, she like got really drunk, and like it was a terrible relationship. Like, she was cheating on me, and like I was doing other stuff without her. Like, it was just like it was a terrible relationship. It was just the worst. It was, I don't even know why or how it existed, right? But like the one time I tried to open up about everything, she like got really drunk and told me I was lying, and that none of this stuff ever happened, and that I just need to be like, grow a pair and like be an adult, and like, whatever. And then like, I told her I was moving out, and she was like, well, once you walk out that door, you can't come back for any more of your stuff. And I ended up leaving like half my stuff there, and got in some like financial trouble because I was trying to support this terrible relationship. And yeah, it got really, and like, honestly, after all of that, like, if there was a simple way to like end everything, like, I would have thought about it, and I know people deal with harsher things in life than stuff that I've been through. Like, LeRon, you come from a military background. I'm sure you can think of at least 10 people that have been through worse things than the things that I've been through. But like, at the time, you just kind of sit there and think about it, and you're like, man, I don't know where else to go.
Well, every situation is of their own. I'm sure LeRon can agree with me. Sorry, my cat's sticking her asshole in my face. Sorry, it's all about, LeRon, you take over, because I'm trying to.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I have this saying, and I think it sums up exactly what Stephanie was getting ready to say, and what you're feeling, Corey. Like, everybody's situations in that moment in time is just as big to them as whatever situation someone else has going on. Like, hell, like, somebody might be in the trenches like a little bit worse than you, but guess what? On an equivalency scale, like, you both are suffering the same way.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I was gonna say, like, those two things that you described, Corey, like, those are legit traumatic experiences.
Yes, they
and
are.
Anyone who says, and I hate when people do that, like, well, at least you're not, I don't know, dead. Like, I don't know, like, they'll say, at least you're not this, or at least it could be this. Like, I hate it when people do that. It's not a pissing contest.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in my mind, just the way that I grew up, I would always like tell myself, well, somebody probably has it worse somewhere. So I always try to like reason with myself.
Actually, that's one of the better ways to cope with it, though. Like, like, not by downplaying what's going on with you, but realizing that there's something better over the hill, things like that. Yeah.
And I think that that's probably why, like, I never really tried to do anything to myself, is like trying to realize that like other people are going through things too, and like I didn't know how to get out, but I was like, well, there's got to be some way. And like I said, when I met my wife, I was like terrified of being in another relationship, but also like being like open with her about things. Like, being open with her was extremely difficult for probably the first 2 or 3 years of our relationship. Like, really, really open. And like, I still struggle with it, but like, it's gotten way, way better, and I don't tell her this enough, or really at all, honestly, because like, we just don't. I just am not cognizant enough to tell her this a lot, but also like, life is so busy right now with everything. Like, I really don't know where I would be without her, whether it's emotionally or like, I would probably still be working at the damn restaurant I used to work at without her. Like, I was at a point where like I wasn't motivated to do anything. I was I don't think content's the right word, but I was fine doing what I was doing. Yeah. And
Yeah.
like I wasn't motivated to do any better, and I wasn't motivated to move my life forward in any way. And you know, I don't know if she'll ever listen to this, but like, you know, it's like I don't know where I would be without her, and this group of friends wouldn't exist without her telling me to like pursue my dream or a hobby that is going to make you happy, or you know, it's just really nice to have that safety net, and I should probably tell her one day. That's nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't really mean to take over this entire show.
Oh no. Like, no, like, honestly, the one thing I think, I think the cool thing about this show After Dark is that it's going to evolve. Like it'll be a mixture of everything that we can think of. One time it might just be like a strip talk show. One time it might just be like something like dirty and raunchy. Sometimes it might just be like us throwing stuff in a sounding board. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I definitely feel like this is the sounding board episode right now, and we're only in episode 2. You know. Yeah. I'll say this, man. Like once again, thanks for sharing that. First of all, like, I mean, you didn't have to, and I can tell, like, you can be a private person, just like I know I can. Like, yeah, I also have a problem opening up and stuff like that, which is also which can be a little scary because I'm basically in a new relationship and stuff, and it's like I gotta like kind of like lower the defenses, you know, sometime soon, or you know, because I feel like I suffer from what's called being emotionally unavailable. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can be a loving and caring person, but sometimes it doesn't seem like I am, or that I am in the moment, you know, and stuff like that, you know. And that's something I also have to struggle with. But I also think it has something to do with the fact that, you know, like, you know, as the person I am, like a black guy, 6'3", 200 some odd pounds and stuff like that, you know, like somehow I was taught that I'm not supposed to show emotion all the time, because being an emotional person of color in this day and age can get you in trouble, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, so I also can be a very private person. And I think the people that I love the most are the ones that get hurt the most because I have to keep the privacy up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy about expectations generally about with men? I mean, it's getting better now, but with men and being stoic and keeping your emotions to yourselves, where women are generally seen as the opposite. Though I often quite get the, oh, you're on your period. Like, you think it's like a joke, but I still get that. Or
Yeah.
I know even I will joke, oh, girls are crazy, but I will have people legit be like, oh, you're just having one of your crazy moments, or you're crazy, or it'll pass, or stop being so emotional. I'm like, what the fuck do you want? Like, guys can't be emotional, women are too emotional. Like,
Yeah, for real. And that's
No,
the other thing. Well, that's the other thing too. Like, I hate how like we're in the society where now the society wants to be kinder and gentler and stuff like that. So they want men to open up and things like that. But at the same time, we can't open up too much. You know.
It's like how do I want to say this? It's like you say the things that you're supposed to say, but you really feel a different way. You know.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of how the world feels right now. Is like so many people are so concerned with being politically correct, which don't get me wrong, I think there's a lot of things that this society has changed, as you know, in terms of thinking, that are great, right? Like I really do, but like being so down the rabbit hole of making sure you say the right things or you're going to get canceled or something is like so like scary, you know. You can't say one word without being canceled, you know. And
shit, sometimes you can't even ask a question because like some people genuinely do not know what's right and wrong, and sometimes they'll ask, well, what's it about this, and then all of a sudden people are like, you're a monster, why would you say something like that? I'm like, I didn't
you're
say
ignorant.
that.
Like,
I didn't.
well,
there's so many things that like I want to learn about and ask people, so I'm educated on things. Like, okay, well, Stephanie, you're mixed race. Like, there's so many questions I would want to ask you. Or LeRon, you're bisexual. What is that like? there's things that like that's easier to understand, but then when you get into the deeper topics, I guess, of like transgender or some of these other identifiers that I just don't understand. I don't understand, and I want to learn so I can better respect your decision of who you are and who you want to be. But if you ask the question, especially like now, it's like, well, I can't just know things. I want to know, what makes you you, what makes you, what do I need to know so that I can respect you as a person?
Yeah.
And that's hard. It's incredibly difficult these days, especially when like, no, I mean, not that I'm like trying to wave the white flag or anything, but like as someone who's a straight white man, like anytime like I would want to know things, like I don't know, I feel like I can't because of who I am, but like I feel like I'm the most important, visual representation of someone who should be learning the most from people because of how the white man has been seen in this country specifically for so long, that the race has just overlooked everything for so long, that like it's not too late to learn, but also like if I can learn who you are, then we can better uplift your voice and show respect and show that we care. We really do care. Not all of us, obviously, right? Like there's a whole subsect of white people that are questionable people, but
that play out to that stereotype
yeah.
to the 10th degree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like I want to learn. I want to be there for people. And like, I hope that Stephanie and LeRon and other people who are different from me in this journey I hope I've shown that, Austin, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you feel the same way. I would assume, like we respect everybody here and who they are and what they identify as and how we can help them grow as a person. And it just,
Yeah.
I'll just shut up now. I feel like I've been talking the whole time.
No. It's okay.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like, just be able to respect you in the best way possible. I'm never going to be able to understand the complete mindset that Stephanie and LeRon has. And I'm not going to be able to understand completely the mindset that Corey has, even though we might be similar in a lot of ways. It's like the people that are telling you that you're too emotional or not emotional enough. It's because everyone has their own mindset of how things are supposed to be. And until you realize that like people just are on different levels. We're not made the same. We're not made in a factory. We're not robots. We all have different views and opinions and things that make us different, things that make us tick. Like, with you all, like, you don't know if your parents really believe in depression. My parents, I didn't even bother asking because my childhood was more traumatic when I was younger, to where I just did not say anything, or I didn't talk about nothing until I was about like 15, 16. It got a lot better. But at that time, I'm in high school and I'm like, I don't really care anymore. I don't really care to talk to anyone. And I'm already talking to people my age who I think are the smartest people in the world, which is not a good thing to base your whole thing on. Yeah. But, and then like my personal depression, some of it stemmed from trauma, but a lot of it stemmed from like I wasn't healthy. I had a low thyroid count, which Stephanie can correct me on a lot of this stuff if I say anything that's wrong. But I take levothyroxine every day now, the highest that you can. I think it's 750 milligrams, maybe 500 milligrams, something like that. Where my thyroid just was not producing like it should, and I felt like shit all the time. I was tired all the time.
Shoot, 500 milligrams of any specialized drug, that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
it may not be 500.
micrograms.
might be 75, might be 50. I don't know. I take the pill. Whatever they tell me to take, I just take it. It makes me feel a lot better. But like,
hypothyroid definitely has several impacts to your well-being for sure.
yeah, like one of the pastors that I listened to weekly, like he had the same problem, and he felt like he wanted to kill himself all the time. Like, and it wasn't that I was like, I face a whole like childhood, and then like was traumatic high school, not so bad, and then like college, and a little after that is when I got in my own shit. Like it was problems that I had caused or whatever.
Yo, that's the other thing too. Like it's almost like, you know, like growing up, going to school and stuff. They don't prepare us enough for the adult world. They prepare us how to, like, you know, like solve questions and answers on paper and stuff like that. But they don't prepare us for like the questions and answers that you're going to have to like deal with, you know, like once you become an adult. Because like let's look this way. Like most kids turn 17 or 18, they get dropped off a cliff. Like they are no longer a child. They're supposed to be an adult, and they're supposed to adapt and stuff like that. And I've said this. When it comes to parenting, I feel like it's a parent's job to instill common sense in their child, but only up to a certain point. You know, by the time they're 16 or 17 years old, hopefully they had all the common sense that they can be taught on their own, so they can help formulate common sense as they become an adult and go out into the world on their own. Unfortunately, we've all seen some kids, they do not have any fucking common sense, like Brock Turner, for example, like going out like thinking it's a good idea to rape a drunk girl that just happened to be passed out, you know, on at a party and stuff like that. You know, that's a failure on both parents and on him. Just if you know, like, if I have any say so on this, you know, because like at the end of the day, you know, like I can only judge but so much. But you know, but then, you know, like the fact that, you know, like we're not taught to deal with our feelings and emotions and stuff like that, which is why I always cheer on parents when I see like they have like a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old that's having a tantrum, and the parents actually not just put the kid in timeout, but they time out themselves with them to help the kid work out what's going on and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I feel like those are some of the best parents out there, because like I feel like a lot of times like parents get overwhelmed with the fact that, you know, like little Susie's like screaming her head off and we just need her to calm down and stuff like that. So, you know, it's an almost a non-issue for them until the child can shut up, you know, stuff like that, you know. Yeah. And then what happens is, like, to complete this cycle, right? Susie grows up and has never been taught how to deal with her emotions. So she winds up either becoming an abuser in a relationship or becoming abused in a relationship, because she's never had any learning to figure out like how things are and how she copes with them. Mm-hmm. I know sometimes I don't cope the best. Like, as a matter of fact, I internalize a lot. Yeah. I internalize a lot. Like something happens, and one of two things happens. Either I push it to the side, or I immediately try to figure out why it's happened to me.
Yeah. That's what my wife tells me too. She's like, you just need to talk about it. It'll make you feel so much better. I'm like, I don't know, but I try.
And going back to what I said earlier, like when I start telling people like, hey, I'm gonna start looking to speak to a therapist and stuff, and just getting the reaction, no, you don't need a therapist. You just need to figure this shit out. And I was like, that's why I'm trying to get a therapist. I can no longer figure it out.
I got ruined on therapy at a very young age, because I went to a counselor, which is not technically the same thing, but in my mind it was, in like 4th, 5th grade. And everything that I told this man, he ended up telling the people that was a problem with. And it was over. A betrayal. Like, I was like, I don't trust you anymore. And I never went back. I never went to therapy. I never went to any counseling, because I was like, why would I ever do that again? It made it worse.
Actually, I'm gonna mention this, and we can talk about it for a few more minutes, and then we can go ahead and just wrap this all up. I've been watching a show. Me and my boyfriend have been watching a show called In Treatment. Now, this is actually an HBO show that used to be on a few years back, but they revived it. and they brought on a new cast. They brought a new cast of characters. It basically centers around a therapist. A therapist. She has the actor is Uzo Aduba. She's from Orange is the New Black. The crazy chick from Orange is the New Black. That's the easy way I can remember. That's the easy way I can point her out, if just in case people don't recognize her. But she's a therapist. Her name's Brooke, and we started watching this show, and she has 3 patients that it's a 20 some odd episode show. Like each patient is week to week, so it's 6 weeks worth of patients and stuff like that. And then at the end of the week, it's usually her, because like I learned a while back that like every therapist has their own therapist, because they need someone to work out the stuff that they've had to work out for other people and stuff like that. So one thing that show did for me, like watching, well, number one, like I always told myself, if I wound up going to college, I would have gone to either become like a mathematician, like a mathematics professor, or I would have gone to law, or I would have become like a psychiatrist or a psychologist, something like that. And so that stuff is fascinating. So like watching this show, like, man, like it's crazy, because like some of the stuff that her clients, her patients are going through, I was like, oh my God, this is me right now. Like there's one character, man, like she's a typical millennial and stuff like that. Like she's getting ready to go to college and everything like that. But but her grandmother sends her to see a therapist, because like not only does she feel like her daughter's, like basking in privilege, because they are from a rich family, but also she finds out that their daughter is at the most bisexual, but maybe just full on lesbian and stuff like that. And like black families, like, no, like the history of homophobia in black families and stuff like that. No, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Put her in therapy and stuff like that. And man, this girl would have these sessions with Brooke, the doctor. And man, like some of the stuff she was saying was triggering me, because like she said something about like how boomers have fucked up the world, because like like nobody was worrying about like climate change, this and that. And then Gen Xers, who are the children of the boomers, we just sat by and did nothing, and it's now on the millennials to like clean it all up and stuff like that. And I got triggered so hard, because I was like, hold on a second, you got to realize something. We were raised by people who said the world was going to fix itself. All we had to do was worry about how we were going to survive. and for like 6 weeks, every time this girl opened her mouth, I was like, oh my God, she keeps attacking me. I can't remember. There was another one that she said, and I was with my boyfriend, and I was like, if we watch this show one more week and she comes at me again, we're done watching this show. Oh man, but ultimately that's another reason why I need to seek therapy, because like I've got stuff that I need to work out, not just thinking about what society is thinking. I got coming from 2 ways. Like we got the older generation telling me one thing, and we got the younger generation looking at me like, oh, look what you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh heck, even with millennials, we've got Gen Z already shitting on millennials. Just so you know, we are now apparently the most useless, horrible generation, according to the new generation, which I'm not particularly fond of, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, it's like a shit sandwich. We're just
shit
in the middle, I guess.
I'm not part of Gen Z or millennials. I'm a certified Black Eyed Pea member. So there's a small window where I'm at, and that's the Black Eyed Peas.
Nice.
Are you before or after Fergie is a question. Wait, there's before Fergie, there's during Fergie, and there's after Fergie.
I would like to be part of the during Fergie. I think that was a good one.
That's when they made the most money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like, not to be the selfish one here, but I really felt like this. I didn't expect to have this type of episode so early in the run of this.
Yeah.
But I never like. I really kind of felt good talking to you guys about this for some reason. I don't know. I wasn't really going to say anything because it's, LeRon, it was your topic. And like, I didn't know that I was going to be this ready to talk about things so publicly, I guess. Because, I mean, this is the first time I really talked about it. Yeah, technically privately because we're sitting in a Skype call. But, like, this is going to go out to people. People are going to hear this.
But you know what? I'm thinking the magic is that, and I say it before, like, like we're content creators, which means we're basically half a step away from being influencers if we're not already influencers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Like, words are powerful. Like, someone's gonna hear this, and like it's gonna be that nudge that they need to like figure things out or seek help and stuff. I know we started off talking about like suicide and actually like veterans and suicide and stuff, which we'll probably touch on this, in the future and things like that as things go along. But like the fact that we can talk about like just opening the door to talk about depression and suicide, like that actually gets people to start coping with what's going on. Like, I mean,
it's
sometimes
Stephanie's fault, really. She changed the subject to talk about ourselves.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. I needed to laugh.
The four of us here, Stephanie is the doctor.
Yeah, Stephanie's the doctor here. Unless we're talking about PlayStation.
Whoa. That's right. I want my credentials. My fake credentials that I totally made up.
But like, I really appreciated this episode in a way that I didn't know I was ready for, really, honestly. And to have you guys here and hearing you guys talk about what you guys went through really helped me in a weird way too. Like, you always know people are going through things or have gone through things, but like sometimes it takes just somebody telling their story to like really realize that it's okay, and even if it doesn't feel okay right now, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. All right. So before we sign off, I just want you to know this has been Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast of the flagship show for Boss Rush Network. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening to the show. We also want to let you know that we appreciate you. If you are struggling, if you have things that you need to work out, things like that, please reach out, look for help, things like that. Take your mental health just as seriously as you take your physical and personal health. It will do you a world of good, and you'll actually thrive and flourish for it. Before we head out tonight, here's how you can connect with the members of our panel. Austin, you were the guest tonight. Go first.
You can find me at PlayStation on everything, and that's pretty much it.
Stephanie.
At Klimov, KLIMOV _author on Twitter, and I write for the Boss Rush podcast. And my little soapbox is, there's not one person out there that can tell you what's the right way to handle something. I'm personally a big fan of tough love, but only if it's in the right place at the right time. And there are definitely times where tough love isn't the right answer. Culturally, I was not really permitted to speak in such things. So to echo Corey, sorry, super quick, like I'm also grateful that I can, in a sense, get part of my story out. So for anyone who's going through our time, especially women that have been through something where they might not be able to talk about, just know that you're not alone. Just start there. And like LeRon said, find the help that you need to have. And it's okay. There's not one right way to deal with something, but just find that support group and know you're not alone.
Yep. Corey?
You can find me at IamCoreyInHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting the Boss Rush podcast. If you want to hang out with us there for some more, video game talk and stuff like that. So it's a good time.
Yep, and as always, you can catch me at Exodus 803, EXODUS 803 on social media, Twitch and YouTube, and that's my gamer tag as well. Do not forget, I am part of two of the other podcast shows here, Crossroads PlayStation Podcast and the Boss Rush Podcast itself. So don't forget about that. Come back, join us for our next installment of Boss Rush After Dark, where we'll be back with more topics that aren't completely content appropriate for our other anchor shows here at Boss Rush Network. Thanks to our patrons for being supportive of us. If you want to get in on it and actually hear the shows, this show airs 2 weeks earlier than when it does for everybody else. If you want to get in on that, definitely think about becoming a patron. And also, do not forget, you can chat with us all and keep the conversation going at either our Facebook group or our Discord. That's it. This has been Boss Rush After Dark. Thanks a lot. We love you.
Y'all.
And we'll be back soon. Yeah. If you know someone in crisis, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-TALK. Or text the crisis text line, which you can text hello to 741-741. Both services are free and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and all calls are confidential.